that bad day with ya. Leave it at the door. It's a cold-blooded killer. Take it out for show. Here's an invitation to the whole wide world. From your brother to your sister to your best friend's girl. Can't excuse it. No excuses. Everybody gets stupid. If you got money in your pocket, it don't mean nothing if you ain't where it is. Here's an invitation to the whole wide world. From your brother to your sister to your best friend's girl.
In this video, I'll be discussing the Samsung S9, which was released in March 2018, just over a year ago, and since has had an increase in competitors becoming more innovative since Samsung made the groundbreaking entry to a new design and use of futuristic technology in its phones. Samsung has been the creators of most technology feats, with other phone providers like Apple, Huawei, and Google stepping closely behind with similar tech such as Touch ID, Face ID, and now in the new Samsung S9, the dual camera on the back of the Samsung with options like slow-mo, as well as water-resistant body and new 3D animated capabilities for selfie mode. The new technology and innovative ideas founded by Samsung have been the front foot for other competing brands to include. However, the new fleet of technology comes at a cost of 700 Singapore dollars. The opportunity cost of the Samsung S9 is possibly a different brand of phone. The Google Pixel 3, which was released in late October 2018, before the release of the Samsung S9, and was a retail price of 600 Singapore dollars, had a significant price difference, with many phone users possibly opting for the cheaper cost over any other factors of demand. Leading on to my next point, the factors of demand. Firstly, income. The average income per person, or GDP per capita in Singapore, is roughly $67,152, which was recorded in March 2019, and put Singapore 15th in the world rankings of highest income of 2016 by Wikipedia. Although the GDP per capita may seem quite high, there are factors which decrease the income further, like indirect taxes on products like food and drink, or normal goods like cars, bikes, furniture, and clothes. As well as that, the Central Provident Fund, or CPF, keeps up to 37% of the Singaporeans' daily salary and uses it for further infrastructure of Singapore's buildings. These factors affect the amount of disposable income a Singapore truly has, and could possibly affect the demand for the luxury good, the Samsung S9. Next, the quality of the product being produced is most likely to affect the demand of any product, since income is rationally spent, with the quality of the Samsung S9 ranking it 5th in TechRadar's Best Android to Buy 2019, closely in front of the Google Pixel 3, which was released 5 months before. Through heavy advertising, it is known that the Samsung focused on the quality and design of their new mobile, not to mention the new specifications included. With the new design of the body and structure of the Samsung phone, it has curved edges to fit a larger 6.2-inch OLED screen panel to fit entire body. Further on, it also is airtight with the abilities to stay underwater for 30 minutes. Thirdly, as of 2019, there are 7 large competing phone brands, but I'm going to focus on the top 4, including Apple, Samsung, Huawei, and Google, who have all released a large competing mobile device since the beginning of 2018, with Samsung competing against 3 other large companies to produce the winning product. It must be innovative and differentiate its product with its competitors. The Samsung is at the front of the pack for producing innovative and new designs of its mobile phones. When someone looks for a new mobile phone, they might possibly compare and look for number 1, the cheapest option, 2, the simplicity of using the device, 3, the design or looks of the product, and 4, the new capabilities it holds against all other brands. With Samsung S9 providing new water resistance, improved battery life of 20 hours, and curved edges, and a dual camera with 12 megapixels, and other phone producers such as Apple not having a phone that had such innovative capabilities until the iPhone X, which was released in September 2018, which yet didn't include a dual camera with such slow motion options or a strong battery life of up to 20 hours, but still came at a price of $1,149. $449 more expensive than the Samsung, but with less options or capabilities. As well as that, the Samsung S9 was sold at the same release of the new Samsung S Pen, which allowed users to touch the screen with the pen instead of their finger. As well, the new way of charging your device was invented with the release of the Samsung Pad, a wireless charging port. These two other products were released and re-advertised during the March 2018 period to increase demand with the new innovative S9. Complements such as the new wireless technology would be a larger demanding factor since no other competing brand had this on sale, and increase the sales of all three products, increasing Samsung's revenue. As you can see from the graph on screen, a change in price causes a movement along the demand curve, and demand will shift to the right as an increase in demand from the S9's complementing products occurs. The Samsung S9 is an elastic good since it is not a necessity and has close substitute mobile producers such as Apple, Google and Huawei. Furthermore, consumers are likely to react to a change in the price of the mobile and opt for a substitute provider. Number 1. The number of close substitutes. The close substitutes there are in the market, the more elastic is demand because consumers find it easier to switch. The mobile phone market has lots of close substitutes, but other factors such as fashion, taste and preferences and trendiness between friends could affect their choice. Number 2. The cost of switching between products. There may be costs involved in switching. Apple has features such as Apple Care, which provides a subscription on a yearly basis. Number 3. The degree of necessity or whether the good is a luxury. Necessities tend to have an inelastic demand, whereas luxuries tend to have a more elastic demand. As stated before, mobile devices tend to have elastic demand, as an increase in the price of the product will cause a decrease in demand since there are other options to opt for. Number 4. The proportion of consumers' income allocated to spending on the good. Products that take up a high percentage of income will have more elastic demand, and in this case, mobile devices can cost between 600 and 1,500 Singapore dollars, which is a large percentage of the average GDP per capita of $67,152. The time period allowed following a price change. The demand is more price elastic, the longer the consumers have to respond to a price change. They have more time searching for cheaper substitutes and switching their spending. In this case, a new mobile phone is released into the market every 6 months and allows a large time period to respond to the changing price. As you can see from the graph on screen representing elastic demand, any change in price, in this case being 10 pence, will cause a large shift in the demand curve and cause a decrease in demand from a quantity of 100 sold to 50% less with 50 of its output sold. Samsung pay their workers the legal minimum wage of $206 a month. Workers are sometimes forced to work overtime with up to 10-hour work shifts for 7 days a week, every week. They work under strict conditions where they work without air conditioning, 35 degrees heat in humid countries such as Vietnam. Human labor is used for the starting components such as building the motherboard of the mobile, and machinery is used to build the outside of the device and put other components of the skeleton together. Conveyor belts are used to transport each component to the next station. The factories use specialized workers to increase productivity and reduce the time wasted on moving the components and moving labor from different parts of the factory. This is an effective way of increasing production and the units produced in a day, as well as decreasing the chances of mistakes made. However, this is a boring and demotivating way of workers who have to endure the same job every day. 50% of Samsung's production comes from Vietnam and only 8% of its production comes from South Korea, where the Samsung headquarters are based. Samsung Electronics is running 6 mobile phone manufacturing facilities in the 6 countries of Vietnam, China, India, Brazil, Indonesia and Korea. The 2 plants in Vietnam have a combined annual production capacity of 240 million units. Samsung Electronics is planning to expand the plants at an investment of US $3 billion, and their capacity is expected to reach 270 million units at the end of the year. The 2 factories in China have a maximum capacity of 150 million phones. However, Samsung is looking to cut their production by approximately 40 million in the view of high labor costs in China. The money that was used in providing a salary for the Chinese labor could possibly now be used in research and development for future Samsung products, or it could be used to increase the wages of other workers in the remaining countries. The Samsung S9 has a production cost of $379 in the 6 manufacturing facilities, and a retail cost of $839. A 54.8% profit margin is made in the production and retail of a single Samsung S9. As you can see from the graph on the screen, if the factories in the less economically developed countries work with specialization techniques or provide a method of motivation, the supply of Samsung's produce will increase at the same price. This is because production is likely to increase through motivation techniques or specialization. As well as that, new technology advancements like better machinery to help build the components of the device could also increase production and further increase the supply. If the prices of other goods, such as the smaller components for building the device, decrease, the total cost of production will also decrease and more can be bought at a smaller cost. However, these are known to be fixed costs because the price of them are not likely to decrease as the supply increases. They are not dependent on the level of goods produced. I believe the production of supply in Samsung phones is price elastic because the firms producing the good are likely to have spare capacity of labor and other components needed to build the good if they ever run out of supply. Moreover, the firms are likely to be able to have a high manufacturing speed due to the use of specialization and waste less time through unproductivity. There is also a large number of labor which is part of the factors of production. It is easy to employ more labor because of the spare number of workers, and also the job of building the mobile doesn't require a large amount of training. As you can see from the graph on screen, as there is an increase in price from £80 to £106, there will be a larger increase in the percentage of quantity supplied of the good. Price elasticity of supply will be below zero.